So Brandon had told us that he had spoken to you prior to trading Stefon, I think, to alert you that it was a possibility, and then post making that move. Just what is your reaction to moving on from a guy that you've had a lot of success with the last 4 years?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard to part ways with a guy that's been very instrumental in our success here over the last 4 years. And again, I can't thank him enough for when he came in and how hard he worked and what he taught me along the years. And obviously, I wish we can keep everybody. We've made a lot of changes this offseason, lost a lot of veteran leadership, Steph being one of them. I guess that's the nature of the business. And going into year 7 now, it just kind of is what it is. I don't get paid to make changes on the team. I get paid to be the best quarterback that I can be and try to lead the guys on this team.
Have you spoke with Steph since the move was made?
Yeah, I shared a text with him and got one back and just thanking him for everything that he did for me, and always have a spot in my heart for him, and I always love that guy like a brother, and wish him nothing but the best.
As you just said there, and really you've been consistent throughout in being having a lot of praise for Stefon and what he has meant to you and to the team. That being said, there was a sense that of maybe just outside speculation. Is he happy? Is he unhappy? Why do you think that seemed to linger over the team for as long as it did?
I mean, to be honest, I couldn't answer that question. It's it's something you may have to ask him at some point. But again, I think with this, there is a lot of opportunity for our guys that are in that room right now, and as an offense and really as a team to evolve and grow and become a new version of the Buffalo Bills and to come together as a team over the course of OTAs is what we're doing right now, and get a lot of time before we kick off the first game, so a lot to learn from. Even going back and look at some of the concepts that we're doing right now and just cleaning those up. It feels, obviously it's frustrating to look back and see some of the stuff that was on tape, especially for myself, but excited to address those and move forward and get better.
What level of this, what did Josh mean to you over this 4-year stretch? And how much more confident are you in your abilities to be able to offset that type of a loss?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, he meant a lot. You look at the statistics; they don't lie. Numbers don't lie. So, but like I said a few minutes ago, it's an opportunity for those guys that we have in our room, bringing in guys like Curtis and Mac. And having Khalil and Dalton and Dawson and guys that have been in the system for a while that know how things go. And within the system, like, anybody can get the ball at any given time, and these guys are very excited for that. They're working extremely hard. It's good to see these guys here. Again, get to know some of these younger guys better, and looking forward to getting to know them as best as I can, so we can use that on the field.
Josh, you mentioned losing the leader in Steph as well. What do you need to see from other offensive guys to maybe step up from a leadership perspective? So it's not just all on you. When you lose, a lot of other veterans from Mitch Morse, 2 guys like that. Like, how do you look at younger guys to step up? Do you talk to them about it? I know you talk about leading by example, but I guess how do you view that?
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity for myself to grow as a leader and to bring along some of these young guys or new guys that we've brought into our team, and that's an opportunity, frankly, that I'm very excited about. It's something that is going to be very challenging, but I'm very willing to do it. And having Coach McDermott, having a second year with Joe Brady, being in my 7th season now, being here, it's kind of crazy to think that I'm going into my 7th season. I feel like I haven't sat too many times up in front of you guys, at the start of OTA. So, but again, it's just another opportunity for me to go out there and be the guy that I'm supposed to be and the guy that I believe I am. And I'm going to need guys along the way, but I think the most important thing that I need from this team is guys to just continue to work hard and buy into what we're doing here and trust the process, as Coach McDermott always preaches, and us trusting in Beane and what he's doing and bringing the right guys in and just trying to utilize those guys as best as we can.
In the history of the league, when a quarterback stays for a while with a team, it almost is like they play with almost a totally second team, and some guys even like a third team. There's not that many guys who've been around as long as you have here. Does it almost feel like going into this year, it's like at that second stage of your career with a bunch of new guys?
I guess you can say that. I've been here with Micah and Poe since I've been here, right? And to lose those guys is going to hurt in terms of the leadership aspect, in terms of the familiarity that I have with coming in and being able to talk with them, not just about football, but about life. So again, finding somebody, isn't easy, but trusting the guys that we have in this room, having a new center, not having Mitch. Gabe was so good for us for the time that he was here and such a presence in our locker room. But again, we still have some guys that have played some really good football over the course of their careers, and having a guy like Von Miller who's been there and done that and been to the pinnacle, been to the top. Bringing in Mike, who's also done the same thing for two of the teams that he's played for, and relying on some of these guys that have seen what it takes and going to be able to utilize their knowledge for this team as well. And I don't think it's a wrong thing or a bad thing to get younger. I think that as a coaching staff, as a leader, to be able to come and kind of mold these guys into the team that you want to be, I think is a very exciting opportunity. And again, it takes two to tango. You need to have the right guys that are willing to come in and work hard and do things the right way, which I can confidently say in this locker room right now, we have those guys.
How are you health-wise, especially your shoulder?
Very good. Yeah, really good. Obviously taking the last month and a half to kind of relax, let the body get back to it. Later in the last half of the season, especially the last 4 or 5 games, it really felt like got back to what I felt like was close to 100%, started feeling like I was playing like myself again, and didn't take too many hits towards the end of the season. So went into the offseason relatively healthy, and then feel like I've gotten some PT work throughout the last couple months, and making sure that I'm just staying on top of that and making sure my body's as best shape it can be.
Josh, you talk about Josh being thankful for the things that Stefon taught you. What would you say are some of the things that you learned from his time here with you?
Well, again, I think the concepts that we were able to put in, the concepts that we were able to run with him, his mentality, the way that he attacked each and every practice, was very infectious, especially for the young guys seeing that. So that's what I would say.
Brandon Beane said that he was going to take a receiver in every round in this draft. You playing with a Stefon Diggs, you playing with a John Brown and a Cole Beasley, you pretty much got an idea of what type of receiver that you're looking to play with in the future. Can you possibly tell us some characteristics of that?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of talented guys in this draft. It kind of goes without saying. And I wish I could tell you we're moving up or moving back or staying put and who's going to be there. I honestly don't know. I'm doing my own evals right now and trying to lean Beane one way or another. But honestly, it just kind of depends on the direction of what this offense wants to be, with Joe and myself, and understanding how we would utilize certain guys if we did pick them, and how we're going to utilize the guys that are here. And I think, again, you talk about having talent. I think bringing in Curtis Samuel, the different things that he can do, pairing him along with Khalil, who's came along last year, especially later half of the season, him coming to his third year and getting better as time goes on, having Dalton and Dawson and seeing what they can get, what they can do. So bringing in somebody that pairs with those guys, but again, it depends on really what we want to be as an offense to see who's going to be the best fit. And right now I couldn't tell you that.
Josh, Brandon said that you like the draft, and he likes that you like the draft, and we know that from years past. What is your communication? If you see, how does it work? Do you see a guy? Do you hear the guy's name? You look at him, you call Brandon and go, hey, what are you thinking here? How does all that work?
Yeah, I mean, I look at all the highlight tapes on YouTube, so everyone's a baller, on those highlights. But going down and actually watching all their targets and seeing their mannerisms. And obviously, I'm not there in the personal meetings, but I get a lot of intel from the guys up in the bullpen. And I will say this: last year, draft day, I sent Beane a text, said Dalton Kincaid. That's all I said. Felt like the draft day moment when Kevin Costner? Kevin Costner opens his thing and it says Vontae Mack no matter what. It was Dalton Kincaid no matter what last year. So I'd like to think that I have some input in who we get to pick, but honestly, I really don't. So.
Given the numbers that you and Steph did put up, what regret might there be in knowing that you rewrote the offensive record book but couldn't get to the Holy Land per se?
Yeah, I would say that's the regret, is not winning one. And obviously I played this game, and the other 52 guys in that locker room played this game to win Super Bowls, and we want to bring one very badly here to Western New York, and that's my number one goal. That's all I'm working for and I'm working towards right now, is figuring out how and what it takes to get us over that hump and bring one back, and we're going to work tirelessly until we do.
No Steph, no Gabe, no Mitch, so obviously the room looks different, the leaders look different. Who do you see in that room, that side of the ball, that's ready to take a bigger step as a leader moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you talk about guys that are working extremely hard, I think last year especially, Dion and Spence, how hard they worked and how well they played, obviously garnered a lot of attention, and guys respect that. Guys see that. You look at Cleo and what he was able to do in a limited role and stepping up late. And again, guys that play the game the right way. It's kind of an unspoken rule. You tend to follow those guys. Guys that follow the ball, guys that make the extra block, guys that don't care if he scores or he scores, as long as we're winning football games. And sometimes it's not your best player, but sometimes it's your hardest worker that steps up and can say something, and guys respect that. So, we have a few of those guys on this team right now, and how it unfolds is how it unfolds, and I'm anxious to see how it does.
As you mentioned earlier, that getting younger doesn't have to be a bad thing. We've talked a lot about the guys who aren't here anymore just for whatever reasons. It's been a pretty clear reset on the salary cap, necessarily by Brandon, but what has that done to your expectations for this upcoming season, if anything?
I don't think it changes at all. Coach McDermott and the standard that we have here is playoff caliber. Doing everything that we can do to make the playoffs and give ourselves a chance at winning the Super Bowl. And, the best way to make the playoffs is win your division. And that starts with winning the first game and taking it one game at a time. And, that's how we're going to approach it.
What's it like to transition to center, especially from someone that you have such a great relationship with, worked so long with, from Mitch?
Yeah, I absolutely love Mitch. With every ounce of my being, he's one of the greatest dudes in the entire world, and I truly mean that. And I think if you talk to anybody else, they'd say the same thing. A lot of wisdom that he had. I wish him nothing but the best in Jacksonville. I got to spend a little bit of time with him in the last couple of weeks too, and gonna miss him for sure. And it's never gonna be easy to replace someone you've been playing so long with. We kind of knew each other like the back of our hands, and I kind of felt him on the back of my hand almost every snap. So, it's not easy, but at the same time, it allows our guys to adapt and evolve and, give opportunities to new guys and to see what they can do.
What's that physically like for you when you put your hands under Connor for the first time after having Mitch for so long, and how you have to kind of adjust? Is it the same thing as working with a wide receiver and option routes and things?
Again, yeah, I think it's just finding, I know this is going to sound weird, but finding a comfortable position, and I'm serious. Mitch was a little left-sided, and every time guys would come in, they'd kind of go middle, and I'd have to tell them, just put your hands a little bit to the left, and it just takes a while to get to know somebody and how they snap, where the laces are. In gun snaps, usually where's the miss? If I need to expect to get my right hand up a little faster just in case if I know he's pulling to the left. So it takes time, it takes repetition. It's like throwing a route with the receiver. I think that's a good comparison.
This is probably a hard question. I know this is probably a hard question to answer in this setting, but what did you learn about managing or navigating relationships based on your experience with Steph over those 4 years? Because the perception was that there was problems with you guys for the last 2 years. You turn on ESPN, that seemed to be like a continuing narrative. What did you learn about that now, especially going into your 7th year and maybe taking even more of a leadership role?
Again, I think this is, as a franchise quarterback, guys that get to their second contract, right? You're not getting paid just to be the quarterback. You're getting paid to be the best leader that you can be. The best quarterback obviously comes with that. So leadership looks like a lot of different things. You wear many hats in this building, and sometimes, it's not the easiest thing, especially when I feel like I'm one of the guys, and sometimes I have to remind myself that, you're looked at a little bit differently. Guys are relying on you a little bit more and understanding that. And again, but trusting coaching staff, trusting your teammates around you, and having that type of humility where it's like you're able to say when and where you're wrong. And I think that's, what we've learned over the last few years, not just with him, but with other receivers and with other players as well. It's everybody's got a different type of relationships. Everybody has something different that makes them tick. And then again, I think we're using this time right now to utilize and find what does make these guys tick. What is their reason for playing this game? And just diving deep into that relationship and finding getting to know them on a deeper level. To try to utilize that and to help push them become the best that they can be.
How many times did you look at 2nd and 9, and did Tom Brady troll you or critique your final possession versus Kansas City?
Did Tom say that again?
Did Tom critique or troll your last possession?
Oh, you're talking about like we were in Pebble Beach?
Yeah.
All right. No, we didn't talk about ball that much. I was too busy beating him up on the golf course to care about that. And, I do pay attention to that and see that possession a lot. And obviously there's some things I wish we can change about that. And whether it's throwing a down ball to me, I wanted to win that game, and if I can go back with the crystal ball and change it, I would. But I can't. The only thing I can do is learn from it and move on and try to utilize that going forward.
Given the pictures that we had of you and Steph being on your back for the kids' Sports Illustrated thing, and during celebrations on the sideline, and also the tough times when he was yelling at you, what will be your lasting memory of Steph here in Buffalo?
My lasting memory of Steph will be the receiver that helped me become the quarterback that I am today, and I'll always thank him for that.
What was it like playing golf with Tiger?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was. They say don't meet your heroes unless your hero's Tiger Woods. It was pretty cool. We got to obviously play golf, and I felt like I played okay. And I feel like I've played in a couple of these tournaments where there's a lot of people around, and you're shaking, putting the ball down. There wasn't too many people out there, but my hand was shaking. And I've got so much admiration and respect for him and what he's been able to do over the course of his career, and the tenacity and the mentality that he had. And there were some, good conversations that we had about that on the course, and some things that I'll cherish forever. And got to have my brother on the bag, so it was a pretty surreal moment for us. We got to play golf with Tiger one week, and the next week we had a charity flag football event, for RX3, which is a deal that's ran by Aaron Rodgers. And I was throwing touchdown. Me and my brother were throwing touchdown passes to Terrell Owens, which we grew up big Niners fans, and obviously he was a fan favorite in our household. So it's just kind of weird how life works sometimes, and sometimes you gotta smell the roses.
Beane basically admitted he was jealous of you for playing for Tiger. Has he admitted that to you?
Oh yeah. I won't tell you what he said, but he wasn't very pleasant.
Speaking of charitable things, Micah announced his softball game. First of all, how cool is that he's still going to do it despite not really knowing what his future is? And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but would you plan on being a part of that again?
I plan on it, yeah. What are the dates there?
It's May 19th, Sunday.
I should be here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, yeah.
Fans to see you there. And I know that Micah, for what he means to this organization and you guys and everything, how cool is that for him to continue this on despite not knowing what his future is?
I will say the same thing as I said about Mitch Morse. Micah Hyde is one of the premier humans on this planet. His heart is always in the right place. He's meant so much to me in my career here, just being someone I can lean on, someone I can talk to, someone I can vent to. And I hope he would say the same about me, and I cherish our friendship as much as I cherish anybody's friendship. And it's very cool that he still feels like he's tied to Buffalo and he can come and do this. And I'm sure the support that he's going to garnish there it's well-deserved, one, but two, it's for the right reasons, and that's why I love playing in his softball tournament.
Josh, do you have a singular memory from your draft night and what the experience was like? When you think back on that night, is there one thing you think of?
The pounding headache that I had from doing all the media stuff right after. It was a long day, long night. Getting on the flight with Tremaine and his crew, and Tremaine's a big dude. his dad and uncle are big dudes. It was a tight flight. And then Kevin Kearns, that's the first time we met, so never forget. Kevin Kearns.
Josh. Joe Brady now entrenched as offensive coordinator. If you could, what gives you confidence that he's the guy to lead this offense, especially with all these new pieces that are kind of in place?
Well, one, how guys reacted to him last year when he took over, and the way that he talks to guys is so much different than I think anyone I've been around. His willingness to listen to guys, when we sit in meetings before the game, he's not saying this is what we're going to run. He's saying, what do you guys want to start with? What first run do you want Deion Dawkins? What first reception do you want Khalil Shakur? So he's trying to utilize the strengths of our team to the best of our ability and putting really the power in our hands to go out there and do it, because ultimately his big philosophy is, if you guys want it, if that's something you want, you're going to make it work. And again, he wants to call the plays that work. And when guys are convicted about a certain concept or a certain play, it's typically going to work out in our favor. So I think that's one thing that he does really well. And two, this offseason already, just going through different concepts and the little tweaks here or there, starting my eyes here, progressing through here, instead of maybe being at starting like, it's a little technical, but talking to their quarterbacks, it's like, why weren't we doing this before? Even going back to my first years here, it's like there's certain concepts where I was so adamant on this one guy, and if it didn't work out, it was like, all right, go make something happen with your legs, and hopefully get into a spot now where it's like, all right, if this guy's not here, that means this backer's taken away. There should be a window right behind him here for something else coming in. So little things like that. I'm looking very forward to it and excited about it.